Welcome, welcome over the top podcast. It's your boy Big Hank. Over the top podcast with my brothers. We got RJ. What's up, RJ?
What's going on?
We also got Big Q. What's going on, Q?
Celebrating Women's Month.
Celebrating Women's Month. That's right. Playmaker G, how you doing over there?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Good. This is National Women's Month, so we all gonna give a shout out to all our sisters and women. To hope you have a great month. We're gonna start out this podcast. Kind of give a little tribute to you guys. Also, over the top podcast is the views of a couple of group of us that give an over top opinion. All the views and all the information will be sent on our Facebook page. Again, thank you guys for supporting us. But we're gonna jump right in it. Again, it is National Women's Month. But the message for the women, but we're gonna direct it to our brothers and sisters. And the main thing is, where I run, get ready to start a cue from, but not quite yet, but give me in a second, is are we protecting our black women? Are we really protecting our black women? When you see your mother growing up, we used to get upset when you talk about our mother or our sister. Those used to be fighting words. Do we have that same zeal? Do we have that same zest of protection of our black women? We gonna go. We gonna see what Malcolm said. Cue it up, Ron. Cue it up for me.
Give me 1 second.
And as he's queuing it up, I just want you guys to just kind of think about it. Are we looking after our brothers, our sisters? But this was Malcolm said in 1962.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. And as Muslims, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to respect our women and to protect our women. Then the only time a Muslim really gets real violent is when someone goes to molest his woman. We will kill you for our woman. I'm making it plain, yes. We will kill you for our woman. We believe that if the white man will do whatever is necessary to see that his woman gets respect and protection, then you and I will never be recognized as men until we stand up like men and place the same penalty over the head of anyone who puts his filthy hands out to put in the direction of our women.
Ron, we're gonna go with you as we reflect on Women's History Month and Malcolm X's statements from that speech that was delivered on May 22nd, 1962 in Los Angeles. What are some of the areas you feel that black men, and we as black men, can improve in helping our black women not only feel more respected and protected, but also appreciated? What are some of the ways we can do that?
General levels of protection. One of the things that I talked to my wife about, and she was kind of resistant when I first met her, I don't like her being out at night alone. Effectively, I really presume to believe that it's my job 100% to protect her. So our thought process is when she's moving about at points in times, I got to be able to cover and protect her and my children. And so I don't let my wife go out. I try not to let my wife and daughter do anything without me being present or another adult, an authority figure. Second, in terms of protection is a number of different things. One of the things that really, I'm not gonna say one of the things, the thing that really impacts us and has really kind of whittled down some of the aspects of respect in our community for us as men is that there was a time when we could not protect our women. And as the men of our community, we effectively let them down. And so trust and security is extremely important to females. And we have to be in a place to be able to secure those things for them. If they're not secure, they're going to feel uncomfortable. And so it's incumbent upon us to create that environment.
Cool, cool. Hey, Ron, do me a favor. Cue up the next video. But while you're doing that, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna go to you next. I'm gonna go to you, Gary. What are some of the things that you was taught? Because I think everything has been, a lot of life lessons been taught at an early age. What are some of the things that you was taught at an early age? The small things that you do when you're around, women and ladies that you carry over to right now today. What are some of those things?
So one of the things that I kind of think back, and one of the things that I was kind of showing my nephew a couple of years ago is, some of the basic things is like open up the door, making sure you're opening and closing the door for your lady, and not just your lady, just for a woman. I see a lot of times, kids or even men run through the door and let the door slam in the face of a woman. It's a small thing, but, recognizing that even if it's not your woman, it's just a woman in general, you're going to open the door for her, let her walk through, make sure she gets through okay. Just something small like that. But I do want to go back to one of the things that Ron said. And because you talked about protecting your wife and your daughter. As Black men, do we need to look further than just our household and look at securing, protecting just women in general, Black women in general?
Well, I think so, and I let it run while he killed it. I think so. I think even when you you out at the store and you see a young lady that have a stroller and she try to get in the door, open the door for the lady. She's struggling. If you see a female struggling, if you out at a restaurant and you see it's a little unsavory on the outside, and you and a young sister or you and a young lady or ladies in there. I'm not saying stalker, but you have a kind of slow play to make sure that they get them. I mean, I'm not saying become a stalker, become Superman, but the small things, the little small things makes a big difference. If you just kind of looking out for each other, having a kind spirit, to look out for our fellow man, but especially our sisters, man, because remember, as Tupac gonna say it. Tupac can say it better than I can. Say it too. I went to while we take from my women, while we rape, while we make it to 8 hours. Women, it's time to figure out and if we go have a race of babies that will hate the ladies that make the babies, and since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. Is this all game? I know because the volume was a little off, but as the word is, that since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, got our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time to kill for our women, time to heal our women, and be real to our women. And those are very, very powerful words. But to piggyback what you're saying, Nesbitt, I think we have a responsibility for all ladies to kind of look out for them. Not babysit them because they're grown women. They don't need babysitting, but everybody need a little guidance. But look at these stats, man. One out of every 4 Black girls will be sexually abused before the age of 18. For every Black woman who reports rape, at least 15 Black women do not report it. Q, I'm gonna come to you with this one. Do you feel that Black men truly understands the drama and trauma of our Black women do every day to a point where we can attempt to heal and be real with our women?
I'm sorry, you set me up with this question. But nobody will ever understand the trauma of anybody, and that's a fact. Someone can tell you what they're going through, everything they've gone through from birth to whenever you meet them and tell a story, but you'll never 100% be able to understand what they go through. That goes for all races, all gender. So we can sympathize, But will we ever fully understand the drama or trauma? No, we won't.
I'm gonna go through this with a different question. Do you think it's important to protect our black sisters and protect our women? Is that something that was instilled in you?
That was, but also protect the people who want to be protected. There's some who don't want to be protected. Honestly, there's some who actually can defend themselves, but defend who does need to be defended, protect who does need to be protected.
Okay, I'm gonna go with you with this one, Nesbitt. Lad with the other question of the night. Some of our black women pride themselves on being independent. More and more women are going to schools, earning the great salaries, and overall making things happen. Does that independence create an obstacle for black men to protect and respect our women?
I think it's different. I think when you look back in the 50s and 60s, the protection looked different. I mean, you had physical protection that was needed as far as someone being in the house, keeping somebody from breaking into the house, someone to keep people from intimidating, because you didn't have the police, you didn't have a lot of those type of didn't have a lot of those things in place. Now I think protection looks a little bit different. I think that, with the police system, with all these other things, with women able to make their own money, I think the protection that they need from us is different. I don't think they need us to help start their car if their car is not running. You got roadside assistance. I think we have to understand that as women have evolved and as time has evolved, we have to evolve at how we provide protection to our women.
Ramco, what other obstacle do you think that would hinder black men from taking care of our women? What is our? And I want to come to this question because I think that's the main thing. Because we do know that there are the issues women go through. But what are some of the obstacles you think that are hindering black men from taking that role of a protector for our women?
I think one of the things that has happened, honestly, there's no uniform code of conduct. In our community, there was an aspect of time where I felt like there was a uniform code of conduct, where men were gentlemen, ladies were ladies. And as we've gotten further and further away from there, I don't know if I ever said this on the podcast before, a friend of my wife had a circumstance where she ran into a 29-year-old grandmother. When you start having children, and a grandmother being 29, where's the wisdom at? Where's the grounding? Where's the home training? And something that Gary said a little bit earlier, pre-podcast, he was saying it but wasn't saying it. We don't have communities no more. In our communities, we had doctors, lawyers, teachers, educators, preacher, pastor, all of them lived inside of your community. Now, those of us that have means don't live in that same community, in that same pocket of family. And so when you have people spread out, essentially what the whole narrative of some of the aspects of things is divide and conquer. That's essentially what you have. So if the men are either directed to leave the home, fail to meet the standard, move on for whatever reason, then that woman to a certain degree is left unprotected. And there are, to say something a little different from Gary, there are women that are gonna need like a jump every now and again, or some support or comfort. It's just a measure of when you look at a situation, you have to learn how to assess it. Hey man, what does this lady need? Does it look like she may need some help? How could I effectively help her? And that's what I essentially do. Like if I see somebody in distress, and if it's a possibility I can help them without ineffectively removing her ability to be who she is, then I do that. But I try to be led in my mind by the spirit that's within me, the Holy Spirit. Like, all right, can I help in this situation? What should I do? What should I say? And sometimes I have to pull back. But my capacity is a little different. I deal with strangers in terms of like families. I go in, build relationships and rapport, and then over a period of time, I learn to empathize and understand what it is that they need, and I give it to them.
Right. Quinn, I'm gonna come to you with this question, and it's kind of our script. So I mean, but I think it's kind of relevant. Do you think because of the gender norms has changed and progression, has that killed the so-called chivalry that men need for women? Because we're shifting into gender roles, and the gender roles are progressing, it's going to different areas. Does that take away the teaching, just like what Ron said, the wisdom of chivalry, or open the door for women, or being extra polite for a young lady, or if you're in line, allowing the ladies to go before you to eat, or knocking on the door when you first meet the young ladies out of respect? Do you think that as the gender roles increase, it kills chivalry also?
No, as gender roles will change, chivalry will change. That's basically as gender roles change for different relationships. Different relationships have different rules. With different rules comes different levels of chivalry. The basic, the core of chivalry, letting them walking on the inside of the street, holding it open, let them go in first, protecting your loved ones, that won't change. Is that but things that also will be considered chivalrous will evolve along with gender norms. Everything evolves. Nothing stays the same. So expecting everything to be the same as it were even last year compared to now, that's impossible. Everything moves forward. Some things move backward, but most things move forward.
You have a response to that, G?
Yeah. Well, I had a question, and this really goes out to the guys. So for me, one of the things that Quentin said is letting the woman walk in the inside. Like, I was taught to open the doors. I was close and all that stuff. I was in my late 20s before I even learned about what side of the street a woman should be walking on. So are we even? And I grew up in a single parent household, so I didn't have a father to kind of show me some of those things or tell me some of those things. My mom kind of pointed out some things, but there's so much that I had to learn after I was an adult, and I kind of learned them because I pissed some people off, and they're like, "Why are you walking on this side?"
I ain't your hoe. You pimping out.
but G, you remember me saying that there are no more social norms, whereas in a lot of communities there are traditional. Like, think about this: communities that come to this country with a certain level of roots succinctly have those roots and are committed to those processes. Now, when we talk about America being the great Satan, at points of times, like, you hear that. I'm not saying that y'all saying that, but the world says it at times, right? And I'm not saying that that's right. However, aspects of that statement is directly related to the fact that, man, family values, this is a place where family values go to die. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you essentially look at like social effective norms that govern communities and govern patterns and are the reasons why we raise or rear our children, we have people trying to present to our children aspects of things that we may not necessarily want them to hear. You have a young infant. Would you want them to hear a story about binaries? Not being binary, non-binary at an age when they can't effectively process that in middle school? No, I don't. I'm sorry, elementary or pre-K. I don't want that read to my child. What I want that child to do is grow and progress, and me to be able to control what is given to my child. You understand what I'm saying? So effectively, what we're seeing in our community is the lack of social norms, and that's not. It's not the same in the Hispanic community. I remember one time, man, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna cut it off. I had a situation where we had to move my mother-in-law. and there was no other male around to help me. So my wife, being who she is, she was like, hell, let's get in here, let's move this stuff. Man, this Hispanic cat seen us moving this stuff, man, in that community. He came over, he's like, no. But I didn't have anybody else to help me move it. Moved her out of the way and came over and helped me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's when she came home. I was telling my neighbor, when she came home one day, we had these kids that lived in our community. They was a little buck wild. They used to do a little wild stuff. They seen her, they knew she was pregnant. They saw the need, they helped. Those are the things and the type of things that I'm talking about, social norms and awareness. Man, when we used to see our friends' mothers come in the house with groceries, guess what we would do? Help them carry those groceries up or down those steps.
Yeah, it was expected. It was expected. If you see a lady's come put, if your mom put it, she gonna blow the horn. Don't grab a bag, blow the horn, come on in the house. You know, grab a bag, come on in the house.
Any of your neighbors, those are things that we did. That's what we did in our community. That was expected. My grandfather used to say, you see a woman on a train, she's standing up, what you need to give her your seat.
Give her your seat.
That's the bus or the train. Those are things that was expected. So when you lose that essence, I remember something said, and I'm gonna shut up. Santana said in America Me, he said, we didn't lose our class, we gave it away.
That's a deep statement that we gave it. Did we really give it away, or was it taken from us?
It's slippage. It's the identified fact that we don't look at things and say Black excellence, but Black excellence is defined by respecting yourself and others, and then also loving your community. So when you can extend yourself to someone, you do that.
Well, I'm gonna go with you. I know. We talk about the older norms. Do those older norms still exist in your day and age that you see in your circle? Do you see the chivalry? Do you see the protection of the young Black women around you, or is this something new to you or something different?
I see some of the older chivalry that's done, and I see some newer chivalry that's done. First off, as far as Black excellence goes, the 4 women behind me are Black excellence, at least as far as in the pro wrestling skate. These are
name
4
them, because I can't share who you got, who behind you.
Champions. Say again.
Who are they? Tell the people who you got behind you.
So, Athena, she is the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Mercedes Moné is the New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Champion, the second ever one, because that belt was just made. Jade Cargill is the AEW TBS champion, the longest reigning champion of the 4. She's held it for over a year at this point. And Bianca Belair, 2-time women's champion, Royal Rumble winner, Elimination Chamber, longest reigning champion in WWE right now. Black women's excellence.
I'm asking you, do you think they have a hard time with relationships because of their excellence?
No. Athena's married, Mercedes Moné is married, Jade Cargill is married. I think Bianca Belair is married or he's her fiance. I'm not sure. Okay. But no, their accomplishments don't affect what they do at all.
Okay, Gail, I'm gonna cover you. I'm covering you with a similar question. We talking about independent women. Well, no, let's go this route. Let's shift gears a little bit. And I don't want to beat up on or pick on any women, anything like that. But I do want to go down this route a little bit. What I'm gonna go with you, Nez. What are some of the things that you see women need from men, and what are some of the things that you feel that you need or that men need from our women for us to better protect them and better be a better service to them?
This is a very dangerous question.
There's a what now?
This is a dangerous question.
Well, we're gonna go around to you.
Well, I mean, some of the stats that we talked about earlier, when you say that 1 in 4 Black girls are sexually abused by the age of 18, when you talk about how many Black women go missing and compared to other races and genders, there's definitely some things that are missing. I can't put my hands on it per se, but there's definitely a problem that's going on in our community when these stats are heavily slighted in one direction. It's not just so when you talk about protection, I do think that the chivalry part is one thing. There's definitely a need to give up your seat for a woman to kind of show a respect and appreciation, especially for our older women. But what about the way that we just treat them on a day-to-day basis? Not just the people that we so-called love and are in relationships with, but what about just everyone else who may not have a loving husband or a loving brother or a father that's currently in their life to kind of provide that protection? What happens to those women? Is it our responsibility to kind of say, hey, let me kind of step in and make sure that she's not being taken advantage of in the workplace? We have stats that show that Black women, when it comes to salaries, are discriminated against. So how are we standing up for them in the workplace? How are we standing up for them when they're being disrespected in public by someone's trying to intimidate them and things of that nature? I think that there's some things that even I struggle with, because sometimes you don't want to jump out there and the woman looks at you like, what are you doing? I got this. I'm in control. But in some cases where they probably do want somebody like, hey, do you all see me standing here in need? So I think that's a very difficult question for me to answer.
Well, but that's why I want to throw it out there to you. Funny story. We talk about chivalry. So at one time I had a vehicle. It was a hybrid. And I'm at the Walmart, put in the Walmart, and so I see a young Black lady in distress. She had to jump a car. So being the man I am, what, we need help? Yeah, I need to jump my car. Keep in mind I got a hybrid, so here I go pop the hood, and guess what? I can't find the battery. So I'm in the hood, the battery, not in the hood. So now I'm like, oh, well, now I look like a dumb guy. Because now, well, I'm sorry, you can wait for your other ride to come. I can't help you. But it is the thought of, it made me thought about this. So sorry, look.
But even that, I think the woman probably appreciated somebody stopping just to attempt to help. Even though you were unable to help her, you at least saw somebody in need, and you're like, hey, let me try the best that I can do to kind of, make sure you're taken care of. If anything, you provided somebody to wait with her while she was waiting on someone else to kind of come help fix the situation. So I think is still important.
But the moral of the story is be prepared to help if you're gonna help. Gotta be prepared to help. Now, but I say, you're right. Ron, what's your response to the same question? What's your response?
Repeat it to me so I can really kind of dig into it.
Oh wow, now you got me going back. So what? So it was kind of a too loaded question. So the first question is, what do you think women need from men, for us to better protect, and better be a service to them, and what do we need from women to make us be in that space, or make us be in that space to want to better render that service to them? So how do you contradict the two, and how do you manifest it?
Communication. You got to ask. Yeah, first off, you got to honestly have real conversations with them about what they want. And what I mean by that is, those intimate conversations have to take place in the beginning stage of, like, if you're in a relationship that's courting. If you're around and you got girlfriends that are friends, like, like certain things, like, okay, like Toya or like D or like Quada, how I know how they're gonna process stuff, and I know how they're gonna get down, and I know if they need some assistance, how they're gonna approach dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? As friends, right? But then when you deal with your significant other, that's a whole nother different story. That's where you have to get in depth and have a real conversation with them about, all right, what are your functional needs? Like, what somebody told me that was really deep. And that's what I'm talking about. Why courting is very important. And some of those things, those social norms that we did before, like, who are your people? You like in South Carolina, most of the people, when you dated, they would know your people. So they would really collectively understand, like, okay, this is what Gary's getting into. This is what Hank is getting into. This is what Q is getting into. As we spread out and we go into unfamiliar places, we get in relationships with people that nobody has a sense of who we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a crazy thing. Girl I dated in high school, they said something that was really, like, they was like, man, that might be your cousin, right? Like, man, he might got that go.
Not the old cousin trick.
Yeah, we had to
I put down this third cousin don't count. Then what they say?
Yeah, we had to check the family tree, right? But as I say that, part of finding those things out are aspects that create that foundation, those social norms of courting and dating, right? And then when you start, and that's on the relationship end, but then that's also just having honest dialogue. Like, what we've learned how to do is lie to one another. So if we
convincingly too.
Yeah, if we have real conversations with each other about, like, what it is that we need, because most people, when they get into a relationship, they have a motive. Like, keep it hot. So if you can identify, like, from the beginning, like, hey man, let's be honest with each other. What's your motive? What do you want from me? And then if it's a relationship, then that's fine. If it's a friendship, then that's fine. But you kind of know how to help. You see what I'm saying? So, like, say for instance, when the truck flipped over in that situation with Toya, y'all came out there, y'all sat down, and you know what y'all did? Y'all problem solved.
Right.
Y'all problem. Right. What you say, Q? Right.
I almost got run over.
But Q, I'm gonna stay with you. How is it in your generation? The motives are women motives conducive for you to be more supportive of them, or they on some more the high, or they on something totally different?
There's a mix of both. As much as I want to say as say it's not, there is. But this is not a bachelor session. I will not be standing on my soapbox on this particular topic, because we are supposed to be praising them. So I will not talk about the negatives. There are some women who deserve to be protected still. There are some women who still live the more chivalrous lifestyle. There's some women who are more modern but still live a chivalrous lifestyle. There is a mix. But there are how is it? There's a lot of good, and there's the minority is loud. That's what I say. The minority is loud is what I'll say.
Okay, so are you find it more difficult to communicate with that, or how, or are you looking, kind of it is what it is, or you do what you can to keep it pushing?
It is what it is. The worst thing you can do is try and change. Is try and forcefully change something that either A, doesn't want to be changed, or B, doesn't need to be changed. Sometimes you just have to let things happen and let God choose what fate has. Okay, sometimes you can be proactive, but other times you just gotta let the chips fall.
Okay, Q, I'm gonna go with you with the last word. Well, I'm gonna go around Robin, but I'm gonna start with you. What if you have one positive thing that you can give on this topic of protecting our women and protecting and to our brothers, what would you give? What would you say?
Is that a positive?
Yes, sir. solution based, positive.
Help those who want to be helped. Those who do not want help, don't help.
RJ, I'm
Well,
gonna go to you last,
not
this, but
don't,
RJ,
not don't help. Help from either help from a distance or just keep an eye out. But if they're adamant about, nah, I don't need help, let them be. Sometimes you gotta let them be.
I'm with you. RJ, this the same question. What can what can you leave that's positive? To kind of lead with the young brothers and lead with the sisters and
lead with love. Lead with love. Love covers a multitude of sins. So if you practice love, then to me, the intuition, or what people call the universe, I call it the Holy Spirit, is going to lead you into all righteousness and all truth. And so you'll have an awareness of how to interact in a particular situation. If you're listening, all right, man, this is what needs to be done. You'll have an awareness and you'll react most of the time the right way. The only time we generally get in trouble is when we turn that soft, still voice off. That's just me.
Okay. My thoughts is deal with people in pure intentions and kindness, with a kindness spirit. I always look at how I deal with women. How would I want somebody to treat my mom if she's out in public, if she needs assistance? How would I want them to treat her? And I want that to relay back to them. Playmaker, you got the last word, sir.
Yeah, I like what Ron said earlier about the communication. I think sitting, instead of assuming what the particular person needs, have the honest conversation. Let them know what your intentions are. That you are just looking to help. You're not looking to get a number. You're not looking to do anything other than just to be supportive, and and be sincere. So yeah, I definitely like that communication point, and I think we do need to have more dialogue, with not just with our loved ones, but just the people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Well, we would like to continue the conversation about protecting our black women, and to do that, guys, we want to hear from our black women. Go to our Over the Top podcast page on Facebook page. Post your comments about the show. Post what we love to hear your comments and answer your questions. And like always, guys, may your next move be the game changer. Good night.